If you are watching this video, it's probably because you've already seen G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. If you haven't seen G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, I would suggest probably not watching this video, because this is the review where I'm going to talk a lot about the spoilers in the movie, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys. And actually, in fact, it worked out well that I rambled on as much as I did in the last video, because now I can keep them as two separate videos. So those who haven't seen G.I. Joe, I would first say definitely go out and see it. For those who have seen G.I. Joe, this is probably the review you want to be watching. This is now my spoiler review. And you probably don't even need to watch the other one because you already know the setup for the movie. So like I said, this is a spoiler-ridden, if I'm going to put maybe a little thing below here. This is riddled with spoilers. For those who haven't seen G.I. Joe the movie, I would definitely say not watch this video until after you've seen the movie. Is everybody gone? Everybody? Hey. Hey, you. I said everybody who hasn't seen the movie. So, yeah, you too. No, I will be spoiling this. No, go on. And close the door. I can hear that glass against the door. No, go downstairs. Okay, he's gone. So, this is for everybody who has seen G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. Now let's discuss this movie now with the spoilers and with more details to the movie. Like I said in the first video, I absolutely love this movie. I walked in with such low expectations, especially seeing the accelerator suits for predominantly the entire trailer. I thought, oh my god, they're gonna so screw up G.I. Joe. But actually, after about halfway through the movie, I looked over at my wife and I said, I'm loving this movie. And like I said, I mean, there are some aspects to it that I really were a little iffy for me. I found General Hawk's performance was a little cheesy at times. Was it Chris Eccleston? I'm trying to remember the guy's name that played Destro. He wasn't bad. I know I really went in with low expectations for him. I think at the end of all of it, I was pretty happy with his performance. Like I said, Sienna Miller was really the standout character for me. I thought she did a great job. Storm Shadow, great. I thought he was awesome in the movie. And also Duke. I mean, Duke didn't get as much airtime as I thought he was going to get. The movie seemed like it was going to revolve a lot with him. And while it did, I don't think he was as big in the movie as what I think people were expecting him to be. Obviously, because General Hawk was in charge of the G.I. Joe team, I think Duke kind of played second fiddle to that. But I definitely thought the characters were done really well. I was actually surprised with how much violence was in the movie. Now, granted, I'm comparing this to the 80s cartoon, where every ship that blew up, you had to see a guy with a little parachute falling down. And in this movie, I mean, it's really along the same ideas. You don't ever really see anyone getting stabbed to some extent. If you see someone getting stabbed, the camera moves out of the way. When Storm Shadow throws his, shurikens, you see the implication of somebody getting killed because they fall back, kind of thing. People getting shot, again, they fall back. A lot of, I mean, it looked like they armored the Vipers deliberately so the G.I. Joes could basically just wail on them with real ammunition. I'm actually glad, too, that they used real ammunition in this movie. Cobra then had those, those pulse, I guess pulse laser blasters kind of thing. So I thought it was a good mix of real world army and then, the sci-fi end, the tech end of Cobra. Couple things I think I kind of had problems with the movie. The big one for me, and I'm hoping again no one who hasn't seen G.I. Joe is still watching this, but the one problem I really had was I thought the guy who played Cobra Commander was really good, and then obviously as soon as we saw Doc, or the doctor of Cobra, or Mars Industries, I mean right away we knew he was the brother of Baroness. At least I did. And I think one reviewer, and it was JTrain 997. I think he did a review of G.I. Joe as well. And one of the problems he had, and I actually have to agree with him completely, is when the doctor was talking, I think that was an awesome Cobra Commander voice. When we did eventually see Cobra Commander, the last 2 minutes of the movie, I didn't like the voice that they used for when he had the I guess the Cobra Commander mask on. It was this kind of deep, synthesized kind of voice. It really didn't sound distinctly at all like Cobra Commander. It could have been really any Viper, the way that he was talking. I don't know why they just didn't keep that raspy doctor voice for the actual masked Cobra Commander. So I found that was a bit disappointing. Again, same thing with Cobra Commander. I really was upset that he was only in like the last 2 minutes. He basically became Cobra Commander, and then he was captured. And it didn't, like, you didn't really get a wow factor. I know, I guess they're probably keeping a lot of it for the sequel. Same thing with Destro, really. You knew he was going to get the mask sooner or later in the movie, but the fact that he got it like the last 2 minutes, I found was a bit disappointing, because I really, really wanted to see the two of them in, you know, fully decked up and all ready to fight kind of thing. And it's like as soon as we got that, all of a sudden then, you know, that was the end of it again. Really liked Zartan. I thought Zartan was awesome. As soon as the president looked over and said, you know, what are you doing? And he's like, oh my God. You knew right away Zartan was posing as the president. And the fact that now you've got the president, or Zartan as the president, I think really sets up the movie well for a really awesome sequel. I don't know. I think they wrote Storm Shadow off in a way that he could probably come back, because we didn't really see him die. I was thinking he was going to get stabbed and he was going to fall off into one of those energy ribbons and get disintegrated. But as soon as he fell in the ice water, I'm thinking, okay, you know, they'll bring him back kind of thing. But, I mean, overall, like I said in the first review, really love this movie. I thought this movie was done so well. And, you know, while some people may say, you know, it was cheesy, man, it was corny, you know, granted, it wasn't a realistic movie, but I walked in, I had a great time, I had a popcorn, I had a drink. I really enjoyed myself. I thought I thought the movie was great. I was well entertained, and when I left the movie, I was really happy that I saw it. That's really the opposite to how I felt with Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. I walked in really excited to see it, and then about halfway through, I'm just thinking to myself, oh, Michael Bay, why are you ruining this? The camera work and the cheese, and you know, they're not. One thing that I thought G.I. Joe did that Transformers didn't do is that they pretty much gave time to establish every character. I mean, some of the characters like Breaker and Sergeant Stone, played by Brendan Fraser, a lot of those guys didn't get a lot of airtime, but I thought the main characters really each got enough backstory and enough airtime that you cared for the characters. Unlike Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, they brought in all these robots, and you like Jolt and what was it, Sideswipe. I mean, you didn't even see most of these guys in the movie. Jolt comes in at the very end, and I just really walked away not feeling like I knew anything more about these Transformers. I walked away from G.I. Joe really, really happy. The characters were well established. The backstories, I think, were thrown in there just enough that it wasn't nauseating to watch. The backstory with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow was really good. The backstory with Duke and Baroness was really good. Like I said, really, really liked Sienna Miller in the movie. It's just a shame that Cobra Commander was only in like the last 2 minutes of it. It would have been nice again that Cobra Commander used the raspy voice and he didn't use the voice he ended up using. But I really was disappointed to hear that. I'm trying to remember the guy's name, something Hewitt from Third Rock. When I found out he was going to be Cobra Commander, I'm like, oh god, this is going to be terrible. But the same way I felt with Heath Ledger, I think my opinion was changed after I'd seen it. So once again, great movie. As I mentioned in the other review, I would probably give it about an 8.5 out of 10. And just to kind of give you guys a comparison, I gave Star Trek about a 9. I'm a little tighter with ratings for movies. I don't think any movie's a perfect 10. There's always going to be that little something that bothers you about a movie. But I think G.I. Joe was a strong movie. Coming from an 80s guy myself, I thought this movie was done as well as it could be for a current, you know, an updated feel for G.I. Joe. Great movie. I'm going to actually see this movie again with a couple of fellas. But, you know, great movie, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.